Well, I brought this because I like it.
Well, hang on, you've just...
No, I like it. This is brilliant, but I like this.
If you're looking for a deck that plays a little bit like Mew, but without having to spend all that extra money or packs to try and pick up the VMAXs, then Dragapult is a very good option for you. With Fusion Strike Assault, we are dealing 30 damage for every one of our Fusion Strike Pokemon in play, which can get to a pretty high number when you consider the fact that all of the Pokemon in our deck are Fusion Strikes, plus we also have Power Tablet to be able to deal an extra 30 every time we attack, which is fantastic. We've got 4 Genesect Vs in this list. They are relatively expensive, but they are obviously the best way to get your deck moving. They allow you to draw cards until you have cards in your hand equal to the amount of Fusion Strike Pokemon that you have in play. Obviously, Dragapult and Genesect sync up quite nicely. The reason that I say if you don't want to spend money on Mew, this is probably the best way to go about playing, is because we've got cards like VIP Battle Pass and Cram-o-matic, which are super good at getting big board states in the early game, as well as thinning out cards that you might not necessarily want in the late game. Thanks very much to Azul for this list. His is over on his channel. I'll put a link down in the description for that one if you want to go and check his video out. And whilst you're there, also leave a like or subscribe to the channel if you'd like to. I'd really appreciate it. Let's jump into the ladder and see if we can play some games with it. Alright, let's get started. We've got a Dreepy in the active, and we are playing up against Mew. It's obviously the deck that we are trying to emulate to a point here. We've got double VIP Battle Pass in our hand, as well as a Genesect, so we are going to have a full bench of Pokemon this turn, which is fantastic. We also have Fog Crystal to be able to search out energy, and Quick Ball as well if we need to discard some more cards. Looks like our opponent is trying to set their own board up in the same way that we are setting up ours, and they're going to do that by utilizing Genesect twice. It's perfectly acceptable. They've got 3 cards to draw here, and they'll be looking for their own VIP Battle Pass, as well as a number of other Pokemon to increase the amount of cards that they are going to be drawing. Now, the good thing for us is that our attacking Pokemon are 1 prizes, so our opponent will need to use Boss 3 times to win this game. I think they've already discarded one, I can't remember. We're just going to assume that they have, because I can't be bothered looking, and we will hopefully force our opponent to do some awkward plays where they have to take out a basic Dreepy. Now, the issue for us is that we cannot attack this turn. We are a Stage 2 deck, so we need a little bit extra. Let's start by setting up our board. We have a couple of Dreepy and a couple of Genesect that we can grab. I will grab 2 of those each with VIP Battle Pass. Then we'll play down the Genesect. We've got Fog Crystal, which we're going to use in this game to exclusively search out energy. We've got 2 Psychic Energy in the deck in total, so we want to make sure that we can find them as soon as possible. And we have drawn into a bunch of cards that, frankly, are not particularly useful for us. I think I'm happy to just pass it here, and we'll let our opponent have a go. If we get 1 Dreepy knocked out, that's not the end of the world. It'll obviously force our opponent to take more knockouts, which is what we want. And we also have the Ordinary Rod and Quick Ball and Fog Crystal and stuff that we can use to get those cards back if they do knock us out. So, not a bad plan at all. Now, our opponents use Cram-o-matic. They have discarded a card from their hand, an item card from their hand, to search out any card in their deck, which is really good. Obviously, you need to flip heads for that to happen, but still incredibly powerful. And it looks like they are going to charge up a Mew on the bench, which is perfectly reasonable. Now they're going for the Power Tablet, and they'll draw some more cards with Genesect. They don't need the VMAX here, I don't think. They don't need it, but they may choose to go for it. It just depends on how their turn ends up playing out. Again, they're thinning down their hand to draw some more cards. I bet everyone is well and truly sick of seeing Mew VMAX on the ladder. It's obviously a very popular and very powerful deck at the moment, and lots of people are playing with it, so it's completely reasonable that some people would not enjoy seeing it. Luckily, I believe that when Brilliant Stars comes out, we are going to see a little bit less of Mew going forward. I'm just going to promote my Dreepy here, and now we have a really important turn. We need to, if we can, get ourselves a Rare Candy and a Dragapult. So I'm going to start off, we're going to Ordinary Rod here and put a Dreepy back into the deck. We need to get as many of those as we can. Then I'm going to Quick Ball away the Quick Ball. We'll grab another Dreepy. I'm also going to play the boss's orders to bring up that Mew. I'd rather take 2 prizes if I can, and then I will thin... I think I only thin 1 of the Power Tablets there. That's so disappointing to see so many of them. There's a Rare Candy, though, off the Rotom Phone, so we can put that on top of the deck and then draw into it using our Genesects. We're going to be drawing 4 cards here, and now we just need 1 card to pop up. That is obviously going to be our Dragapult. I'm going to Cram-o-matic here, and I'm going to Cram-o-matic away a Cram-o-matic. Luckily, we've flipped heads, which is good, and we can grab the Dragapult. I don't want to lose these Power Tablets, because I think they will be very important in this game to knock out Genesects. We've got a couple more cards we can draw, but Fusion Strike Assault now will be taking a knockout on Mew, I believe, because we do 30 for every Pokemon in play, plus we've used a Power Tablet already. We will throw this Great Ball, grab the Dreepy, and then we can Rotom Phone. We'll do that to put something useful on top. I like Rare Candy, that seems pretty good. Kind of awkward though, because of our hand, but that's okay. I'd rather have that than nothing, and then I'll just draw into it, may as well. And then we will attack with our Dragapult, taking the knockout on the Mew. We deal, what is it, 210? Yep, exactly, well, not exactly the right amount, but exactly the right amount without Power Tablet, which is what we're looking for. And now we are ready to roll. We will need to find another Dragapult next turn, but we've got Great Ball, and the Power Tablets in our hand are going to be very important. We need them for every Genesect to knock it out. We can only do 180 without the Power Tablet, and Genesect unfortunately has 190 HP, so we are going to need to be a little bit lucky and take a knockout either on this Mew before it evolves, or, if possible, on a Genesect next turn. That would be preferable. At the moment, though, our opponent is in a bit of a rough spot. In fact, I don't even know if they can knock us out comfortably this turn. They can obviously knock us out with Meloetta. That does 140 damage at the moment, and with a single Power Tablet, it will get a knockout on the Dragapult. But the question is, do they want to, instead of knocking out the Dragapult, go through a Genesect, maybe slow me down a bit? If they do want to do that, then we're fine, because we can just attack with our Dragapult again. So, honestly, it's probably better for them to just knock out our attacking Pokemon, but sometimes people get sucked into taking 2 prizes on the bench, especially with these Mew VMAX decks that are so used to taking prizes quickly. So they've promoted the Meloetta, and there's the Melodious Echo. Very smart, making use of the Power Tablet, the attacker that they have, and forcing us to have Boss in hand. But they have 2 Mews on the bench, so if we can find a Dragapult, then we will be in a very, very good spot here. We're going to start off by playing this Great Ball. If we had have just grabbed the Dragapult, then that would have been fantastic. I'll attach the Air Balloon to the active, and then use a Power Tablet. We can also... Let's just throw a couple down, because I think as long as we knock out one of these Genesects, we should be fine. So I'm gonna go with it this way. We'll attach an energy to Dreepy after grabbing it from Training Court. Then 3 cards off of this. Can we find a Dragapult? Yes, we can. We actually find 2, which is brilliant. So we can evolve our active Pokemon, and then we can also Genesect a couple extra cards here. Maybe another Dragapult if we can get one. Doesn't look like it, so we will attach the Air Balloon. Oh, actually, no, we don't need to. We might just attack with Fusion Strike Assault here. Take the knockout, and we are in a pretty solid position. Take 2 prizes, and we need 1 more KO to win the game. Now, our opponent has 2 Mews, so if they evolve one of them, then we will be able to knock out the other, provided that we find bots. Actually, I probably should have used Great Ball last turn, because if we had been able to find our 1 copy of Drakloak, which is in the deck, then we would have actually had game in hand. Provided, of course, that they don't evolve, which they will, so I would need boss anyway, but maybe should have done that. Our issue here is going to be that we have lots of cards at the moment that aren't playable. We can play Air Balloon, we can play Great Ball, we can play Power Tablet. Provided that they get a knockout, we'll be able to play down the Genesect, but then there's 4 cards in our hand that we can't remove from our hand very easily, so it's a little bit concerning. Nothing too crazy though. I'm fairly comfortable that we should be able to get this win, provided of course that nothing goes horribly wrong. Now, we're not going to get Marnied, because Mew doesn't tend to play Marnie, so we won't have that as a potential out, but that's a good thing, because we do have 2 Dragapults in our hand anyway, so Dragapult, you know, would be useful. Oh, alrighty then, they're just going to boss. They're going to boss because they know that if they don't take 2 prizes this turn, then they aren't going to be able to realistically win the game. So, we now don't need to find an attacker. We just need to find boss's orders. So, hopefully we can get into one. Let's throw some of these cards around. We'll play every single card that is playable for us right now. Air Balloon can just go onto a Dreepy, it doesn't matter. We will Quick Ball. I'm going to Quick Ball away a Dragapult. The 2 VIP passes we could potentially use for Cram-o-matic if we find them. So Fusion Strike System for 3 cards. We're looking for boss's orders. If we find it, we win the game. We haven't won the game yet. Okay, we can Rare Candy into another Dragapult. We will never attack with this card, but we can thin the hand a little bit. Let's throw down Air Balloon, and I will also throw down Ordinary Rod. I'll put a Pokemon back in the deck. It doesn't really increase our odds per se, but it does at least give us extra cards to draw, so 1 less chance to draw the card is acceptable for me. We've got Cram-o-matic here, we've also got Rotom Phone, so let's see if we can just guarantee it first up. We can. The boss's orders is now on top of the deck. I can Fusion Strike System into that boss, and then we'll be able to knock out any of the 2 prize Pokemon on the bench with Fusion Strike Assault for the game. Pretty good. That's the best deck in the game at the moment, and we managed to beat it with a 1 prize attacker. Game 2, and it looks like we are up against Inteleon. Our hand is not as good as our first game was. We obviously have a couple of search options, but I'd rather use the Fog Crystal for energy if I can. We do have a Rotom Phone in hand, so next turn we will at least know what our top deck is going to be. And obviously playing up against Inteleon, this game could be very interesting, because Inteleon is often a very powerful deck at bench damage, so they can spread damage around. It means our Dreepy on the bench might be in a little bit of danger. At the moment, they probably think that we're playing Mew, so we will try and kind of force them to think that. Let's Cram-o-matic away an Ordinary Rod here. Flipping heads would be amazing, and we get it, so let's grab a VIP Battle Pass. Now our opening hand is very, very strong. We will grab a Dreepy and a Genesect here. We will also then throw the Great Ball, see what we can find. A Dreepy is fantastic. This has become a very, very strong turn here. I'm going to grab the energy with the Fog Crystal whilst we can. It's very important to note we only have 1 energy in the deck at present. We do need to make sure that we can keep getting them back into our hand as often as possible, which is going to be a little awkward. We'll see how it goes. I've got a Quick Ball here. I've got Drakloak in hand. I could just pass. I think Quick Balling away the Power Tablet is probably better. Give ourselves a few more extra cards to draw. With Genesect, we'll Fusion Strike System for 3, and hopefully we can find ourselves 1 more Dreepy. That would be great. We will Great Ball here. We don't find it. We get another Genesect. So Genesect all over the place. Not a problem at all. Fusion Strike System, couple more cards. And you know what? We will leave it at that. That seems perfectly reasonable. Seems like if not optimal, then pretty close to optimal setup. The only thing that we need now is a retreating card, so we can get the Genesect out of the active, and also a Rare Candy to evolve into Dragapult, which would be great. I'm not expecting to see either of them. This hand is kind of awkward in the sense that there's not a huge amount of cards that we can play. But you know what? It's going to be fine. We can evolve one of the Dragapult, the Dreepies into Drakloak. That'll be fine. And hopefully our opponent puts something on the bench that's worth a couple of prizes so that we can boss it out and take the KO from there. Now, hopefully you have enjoyed today's video up to this point. If you have, and you haven't already gone and liked it, then please do. Again, thank you very much to everyone who has supported me in coming back from my very long break. You can tell I'm still not necessarily super confident speaking in front of the camera, but it's okay. We're gonna push through. It's tough stuff, this YouTubing. But yeah, I really appreciate you all coming out. Like I said in my last video, we are back to a regular schedule now, in the sense that videos will be coming out on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sunday. If there is going to be a live stream, then I will try and get it up as quickly as possible. Usually those live streams are on Fridays or Saturdays, depending on how I'm personally feeling. It does say in my banner above when I plan to stream, but there's no guarantees with that at the moment. I'm not feeling super comfortable streaming just yet, but that's okay. You never know, maybe when Legends Arceus comes out, we might do a playthrough of that on camera, but you never know. Things happen. Things are weird. Now, our opponent's played an escape rope for us, which means that we can put our Dreepy into the active. It means we don't need to find that air balloon, which is fantastic. Now our Cram-o-matic only needs to hit a rare candy. We are dealing 180 damage with our Dragapult at this point. If we want to knock out that Inteleon on the bench, which I really would like to, honestly, then we will need an extra couple of damage counters from a Power Tablet. We will see what happens here. Now, let's play down the Drakloak, and then I will also play Cram-o-matic. We'll get rid of that Great Ball, hopefully hit heads. We don't. I am going to gust out that Inteleon using Boss's Orders, and then hopefully we can find a rare candy here. We haven't got a rare candy, but we do have a Cram-o-matic, and we have managed to hit heads. So let's go grab that rare candy now. That's the most important card that we need. And then obviously a Power Tablet here would be fantastic as well. I will Air Balloon a Genesect, pardon me, and then draw 4 cards, which is pretty good. 1 Power Tablet will do the job. Doesn't look like I have it at this point. We could quick ball away a card if we want to. Maybe that Dreepy could be an option. At the moment, I don't know whether we necessarily need to though. So I will just Fusion Strike, Assault. We'll deal 180 damage, and hopefully our opponent needs to evolve this Inteleon to try and win the game. We do have Rare Candy and Dragapult and a spare Dreepy in our hand, plus we have Ordinary Rod, so we can put the energy that is on the active back in the deck if we need to. Obviously, one of our energy is prized, which is a little awkward, but we will see how we go. And obviously, if our opponent can't do anything about the Inteleon stuck in the active, then next turn we'll easily be able to knock it out with Fusion Strike Assault without having any problems at all. So that would be fantastic. And we'll see how we're going from there. Also, have you seen the brand new cards from Brilliant Strike or Brilliant Assault or Brilliant Star or whatever it's called? I can never remember. Brilliant Star, it feels right. Hopefully you've seen them. We'll have a chat about those in a second. This hand not super great, but our opponent couldn't get their Inteleon out of the active, so we will thin out our hand as much as we possibly can, and all we need to do now is just draw a couple of extra cards. We don't even need to worry too much about anything. Cram-o-matic and Power Tablet is pretty good. I'll take a knockout on this Inteleon whilst I have the chance. And we will draw some more cards with Fusion Strike System. That Rotom Phone's pretty cool for next turn. We will take a knockout here and take a couple of prizes. Unprizing an energy would be spectacular. Please give me the energy off of these prizes. Okay. Now my life is a little easier. We've got Boss's Orders to knock out the Inteleon if we need it. We've got energy to attach to a brand new Dragapult. We don't need to worry about finding the energy once it's been shuffled back into the deck. So we are doing way, way better than I initially planned. Although I will say that our opponent has not necessarily done too much this game. They've dealt 20 damage to us with a quick shooting, and I feel like they don't have a huge amount going on in their hand at the moment, which is unfortunate. Would have liked to have seen this deck going up against Inteleon at full power, but, you know, we take the wins on the ladder when we can get them, right? That is a very frightening card that we will want to deal with very quickly. Rapid Strike, Urshifu could easily take a bunch of prizes, including knocking both of my Dragapults out. I don't want that to happen, so luckily the Boss's Orders in our hand will be able to bring that Urshifu into the active, and we will be able to knock it out with weakness, but I don't want them to be able to use Rapid Strike at all. So we will attach. Let's just throw some cards now. We need to get as many bad cards out as we possibly can. I'm going to grab a Power Tablet. I think that seems like the best possible card to get off of the top here. We don't need it right now, but it could definitely be useful for us. Then I will use Boss's Orders, bringing up that Urshifu. And then we'll draw some more cards. Well played, Tanax Jordan. He's conceding the fact that losing this Urshifu probably means he loses the game. We do have boss's orders in our hand, and we've only got 2 prizes left to take. So I think this one's going to be another victory for Dragapult. A really, really strong deck with the Fusion Strike tag. And like I said, if you don't necessarily have the budget for a Mew VMAX deck, but you've still got a few meta cards like Genesect, then this list is really, really good. It's really fun, really strong, definitely worth a play if you can pick up the Genesects. So Dragapult's done the job for us in the video, but how good will it be for you? In general, I think this deck is rated pretty well. Its biggest issue is its cost. Genesect's obviously quite expensive, and if you do want to play this deck, you are kind of going to need to have that core already available to you, but definitely very good. It's powerful. It's got the ability to two-shot everything in the game, and consistency-wise, it is pretty much as consistent as you could hope for. Genesect is a broken card, and if you're looking for something to play whilst you're trying to build Mew, maybe you haven't got the cards for that yet, but you're looking for the same playstyle, then Dragapult will definitely do the job for you. So another fun deck. Thanks for coming along and joining me on this one. I appreciate it as always. Thank you to all of the channel members who have stuck around over the last month or so. If you'd like to become a member, there is a join button down below. You can get your name on the next slide, which would be great. I'll thank everyone for coming yet again, and then I'll leave. Goodbye, everyone. I'll see you next time.